the Design and Remodeling Show with Custom Built.
Welcome to the Design and Remodeling Show, where we talk about all things home improvement. I'm Isabel Broidigan with Custom Built Design and Remodeling, and each week we're going to bring you expert insights and practical tips to help you transform the place you live into a home you love. Today I'm joined by Michael Flory, founder and CEO of Custom Built Design and Remodeling. It is our first episode and kickoff of the Design and Remodeling Show. So we're super excited to be here, and really, Michael, I just want to talk with you today about Custom Built's vision. You know, why we're here today, and tie it back to the show, what we're really going to be giving viewers over the next 12 months.
Great. So excited to be here with you, Isabel. This is exciting.
Yeah.
You know, when I think about the home, it's the central, you hear about the kitchen as the heart of the home. And those are emotional things. And what we do in the design build world, and we're actually in people's homes remodeling, it changes their lives. It really does. It's creating spaces where people actually fall back in love with where they live. So excited to be here with you and dive into this and really help people better figure out how to remodel their homes and take advantage of the investment that they have.
Yeah. So obviously we get to work together on a day-to-day basis. I also want to share with the viewers that this is my dad, so we get to work together on a day-to-day, and it's so fun to be in business and do life together all in one. And it's a beautiful, chaotic adventure that we're on. And so talk to us a little bit more about Custom Built's mission. Like, we want to impact families and we want to impact lives, and we do that through remodeling the home. But can you give us some background on that?
Impacting families is so central to who we are at Custom Built, and the home being the centerpiece of it. I really didn't grow up thinking I was going to be a remodeler. I actually grew up in a really broken home, lost my parents who were murdered when I was 10 years old in my home. And so childhood was tough, but at 20 years old, I had a second chance at life, and my life got turned around, and I ended up in the remodeling business probably because of you in some regards. Mom and I had different plans. We thought she was going to be a doctor. She was at Michigan State, and long story short, we ended up with kids, and it was one after another. We were good at it, and we ended up with 8 kids. And so along the way, I started buying houses and flipping them and doing so many different things, but just I had a knack for it. I liked it, but I also liked building a team. And that's where, as we grew and we could do more remodeling, impacting more. And it was born out of a lot of dark times. I mean, 2008, the economic crash, and we had been building a lot of decks and finishing a lot of basements, and everything crashed. And that's really was the invention of the design build world. About 2015, we brought on our design team, and that really began to allow us to really customize and really be able to help people. Because as a builder, I had to do design as well, but that's not my core gifts. You have those gifts. Christine has those gifts. Josh has those gifts, but that's not necessarily something I love. And to third party that for us to be able to get to this place where we could do the full service design build. And I think along the way, you're going through life and you're developing, you realize how important the home is. Some of my memories that kept me alive during my teenager years when I was struggling, it was all back to the home. I remember the Christmas times and the cookies and the smells and the experiences. And, you just, after a long day of work, people want to go home and just sit back, look at their space and just enjoy what they have, or that party or that Christmas event or that Thanksgiving that once or twice a year they're going to have their whole family together, to have that kitchen with an island. That's what it is today. And to be able to have a team that does that, I have to pinch myself a lot of days, but I love what we do.
Yeah. And I think of, the reason we're doing this show is we want to share tips and insights with homeowners so that they can transform their own homes, right? So that they can live the life that they want to in their home, inviting people in and creating that environment that just is filled with love, joy, and peace, right? So, let's dive into a little bit more of what it looks like to work with Custom Built. We're a design build company, which is a little different than a lot of other routes that homeowners go. So can you talk us through, we typically say there's 3 ways to remodel a home. Can you talk the viewers through what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. I talk about this a lot. when you think about, everybody starts a little bit different because there's so many different ways. But today with apps and the internet and Pinterest and all of that, like a lot of times we're like, you get a social media like bathroom, or your friend posts and they just did a bathroom or kitchen. Your journey starts all over the place. So typically when you reach out to us, you've gone to our website, or and the initial conversation we have with you, and we're going to talk about like, hey, have you done a remodel in the past? And and some people are like, yeah, I did it growing up, or yeah, we just did a project. And we're like, well, how did that go? And we start to discover like, what is the way that you want to get your remodel done? And we want to help you no matter what. Well, we kind of broke it down into 3 different ways that you can do this. First is DIY. Second is self-managed. And then the third would be the full service design build experience. And in each of those, there's a process to get there. I mean, if you're DIYing it, you're doing the design, you're doing the research, you're going to the stores, you're picking out materials, you're doing the material list, you're pulling the permits, you're doing everything. As a self-managed, you might hire a designer to design your space, and then you call the plumber, you call the electrician, the flooring company, and you self-manage it. And then the last option is really what we do really well. We're going to help you with any 3 that you choose, but we are the full service where you come to us, you tell us your vision, and a couple of meetings, we're able to take that and then get our design team working on it and curate that and save you hundreds and maybe thousands of hours. And we're able to take your vision and collaborate with you and really build something better than you could have ever thought or imagined. And that's really our goal, is at the end of this, man, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And we know you're busy, and we wanna take advantage and not, of the thing that we can give you, which is your time back.
Yeah, so I've heard a lot of homeowners who've come to us and they are leaning more towards that self-managed route, but they still reach out to us as a design build company. So could you talk me through, like, what does that look like when you're either out in their home or on a phone call with them, and kind of educating them on which way they should choose based on their fit?
Yeah, really it comes down to a couple of things. One is, if they have the skill set to be able to get what they want, and you think of it as like 3 phases. First initial, it's just sort of like, sort of dreaming about what you want, but then you get into this design phase, and you have to design the space, you have to figure out the layout, you got to decide if you want to move the window or not. Do you want to put the shower here?
Yeah.
Do you want to move the island over here in the backyard? Do you want the deck to be the whole width of the house? Do you want a patio down below? You got to decide on the spatial aspect of it first. Where is everything going to lay out? And then the second piece is the the selections, like all the materials that you're going to buy. So if somebody has a skill set to do that, or they know how to get that done, or that's one one box you got to check first. And if you can do that, then you may want to self-manage it. The self-managing side of it comes down to project management. So a lot of times we have clients that's what they do for a living, but maybe not in the residential world, but they project manage, they're engineers, they're and they want to do that. So if they have that skill set and they have the time to do it, that would be a reason probably to move forward on it. And you often hear about sweat equity. So, and I did this a lot when I was starting our business. I put a lot of sweat equity into those houses, and what does that look like? It's kind of crazy. It's a lot of hours. It's nights, it's late nights, it's mornings, it's arguments with my wife because I didn't get back, and I forgot to tell her that I was going to be gone till midnight, and all of those crazy things. That's sweat equities, so some people, they want to do that. And really, at the end of the day, we're just going to try to help you figure out what is the right choice for you. Certainly we want to help you, but we got to be the right decision. So, and financial impact. I mean, certainly DIY is going to be the most cost effective. Self-managed is going to be, the second, and then full service is going to be the most expensive. But I always kind of question, like, are you going to get a better value? And I think in the case of a well-matched thing, we're going to create something really, really cool, and hopefully help you do a project one time. People have done home improvement projects twice, and both times it costs them more. And that's the unfortunate thing that we see in our industry too much is people get involved in a project and they're not guided very well.
Yeah. So. And when you talk about the home, I mean, oftentimes that's the single biggest investment that people make in their lives, right? So investing in your home is really important, and then choosing the right partner for that journey as well, I think makes a big impact on the outcome.
Yeah, I get really excited when I think about the cost of a kitchen or the cost of a bathroom, or, what does it take to put an addition on a house, that kind of a thing. And, when I go buy a new car today and it's, you start off at $50,000 for a new car. If you want to get a truck, an F-150, I mean, you're probably spending $70,000 by the time you pay taxes and all that kind of stuff. And you could easily spend $100,000. And I think about the impact. I love to drive a pickup truck and throw stuff in it and the tools and drive to job sites and all that and haul my kids around. But when I think about the home, man, I think about home appreciates in value. So that to me is like, if you put $100,000 into your home, into your kitchen, and if you have to finance, I mean, how many of us finance our cars on a kitchen remodel? That may be something you do, because that kitchen's going to start creating memories tomorrow, and you're going to be working and cooking in that kitchen, and really that space is going to become something that's going to impact and change your family. And that for me is probably the essence of why I love what we do. We go in and we tear spaces down, and in my life I've had to many times get tore down to feels like bare studs and then rebuild something new. And I love that about the remodeling and personal development, having a team and seeing people like you just rise up because you're challenged and you want to take on the next thing. So you know how to do so much in our business because of that. It's such a cool place and cool business. Yeah,
it's amazing. So then, I mean, let's talk about the roadmap, because we built this really cool tool. We heard from homeowners that this process is long, there's a lot of parts to it. So we built, a simplified version of basically our process to give somebody a tool to see what the next step looks like. So could you walk us through, I think of the dream phase. We've got 3 main points in there. Can you walk us through what that looks like, and then just a high level of the rest of the map?
Yeah, so the roadmap has been instrumental in us being able to come alongside and come together and collaborate and help somebody make sense of what is this journey. Oftentimes people will say, well, when can you start? Well, which part? The design or the actual build, and helping them sort of be able to visualize. So this tool is just really a tool to get in sync with each other, to understand that there are 3 phases. There's the dream, which is really up front before you really engage and you're ready to embark on this journey. The design piece, like I said, if you're working with us, we're gonna come alongside you and do all that for you. But even if you're not working with us, you're gonna have to do that. And then the build phase, and there's so much in the build. From once we finish the design and we get to a fixed price, we now have to go pull permits and put together work orders and order materials and make sure they're right and schedule deliveries. There's just so much that happens behind the scene, and our roadmap kind of helps lay that out for you, at least so they can be in sync in what's happening, so that and that's that process is very it's the same process for everybody, but it's very different journey for all of us. I always use the analogy, we've never done 2 of the same remodels in the 20 years of being in business, because we haven't. Even if it's the same exact house, it's not. It's 2 different people we're working with, or a different person we're working with, or a different family. And so remodeling is such an intimate part life. You're gonna have us in your house. We call it remodeling fatigue, when we've been in the house for, 3 months or 2 months or even a month, it's like people just want that key box off and they want to be done, and they're just looking forward to that space. And so it's all part of that roadmap and that journey that we've laid out to help you.
Yeah. So one of the last things that I want to discuss is hiring a reputable contractor. There's a lot of people out there who do remodeling, right? And so what are some tips that you would give a homeowner to look for in a reputable contractor? Absolutely.
I would say one of the first tips I would do is just get references, but also look at what they're involved in. When I was just started our business, I asked my father-in-law, hey, what do I do to get better? And I think I was probably 24 at the time, and he said, you should join the Home Builders Association. So, I joined the Home Builders Association, and I started meeting other builders that were running reputable companies, and I was able to learn from them. So the contractor you're hiring, not only just looking at Google reviews, I mean, that's important. Go look at their website. Of course, there's all these different apps, Nextdoor, things like that, where you can ask questions, and those are all great places to look. YouTube, we've we've really created a YouTube channel where we put out videos and we educate people. Even if they are going the DIY, we want to help them. When we're in the neighborhood, people can come and talk to our carpenters that are over there working, or our plumber that's there. So those are great ways. I mean, look at what's going around the neighborhood and ask around and make sure you do your research.
So reputation really is the biggest, thing when you're looking to hire a contractor. It's the biggest thing to look for.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So if the viewers here want to connect with you, want to connect with Custom Built, where can they go to find us?
Well, certainly go to the internet. You can look up callcustombuilt.com and get started on our website. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a learning center. So you can go to our learning center and you can get on and watch some of our videos, read some of our blogs, different articles from our entire team puts them out there. So there's design articles, there's how-to articles, there's things to look for, tips, things like that are going to be super helpful. So that would be a great place. And then you could always call us at our main line, 517-881-9871.
Amazing conversation today, Michael. Excited to talk more. So if you're curious to learn more, definitely visit our website, definitely reach out to us, and then stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more of these episodes and videos coming out. We look forward to connecting with you. Welcome, I'm here with Dan from Acme Exteriors, and today, Dan, I'd love to hear from you about windows. So, oftentimes homeowners will come to us and they want to know if they need to repair or replace their windows. What does that process look like for your team to determine whether it's a repair or replacement?
First thing we'd like to do is go out and assess. And we want to look at the window. Is the window working or is the glass just damaged? Because oftentimes what we find is the glass can just be replaced because the window itself is actually fine.
Awesome. And how do you determine that? Is there a way a homeowner at home could figure out whether or not it's just the glass, or really does your team need to come out? So
that's a good place to start. Does your window work like you want it to? Does the window itself, the surrounding part of the window, look okay? If it's looking like damaged, that's a good sign that it may need to be replaced. And then I would say you can call us and we can make that determination. And while we don't replace glass, we can definitely recommend people that do. And that's often a great cost savings.
Awesome. And when you are replacing a window, I know there's different parts to the window. I don't know all the terminology like you do, but will you go in and actually just pull out the window, or do you have to take all the casing off? And is it a big construction project? Like, what does that typically look like?
So the way we like to do it is we pull out the whole window casing, everything. And it's a little more invasive than a lot of window companies may be. But we think that's the best, most efficient way to do it. A little more expensive, but we're taking care of making sure it's insulated well and protected against the elements a lot better than just what they call a replacement window.
Right, which in Michigan's weather climate,
correct,
really important to make sure you have a well-sealed window.
Agreed.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Dan. Great to hear from you about windows. And if you do have any questions or need any help with your exterior, reach out to Dan from Acme Exteriors. I'm here with Heather today, and we're going to dive into understanding the design flooring process. So, Heather, could you share with us a little bit more when a homeowner comes to you and they want to transform their space, choose new flooring? What is that process? How do you walk them through the decision?
We really do a very good exercise by making sure that we sit down with the client, customer, and ask them important questions about the space and how they're going to be using it before we get into looking at the materials and things. It's very important to figure out their dynamics of their home, pets, children, how the space is going to be used. And that allows us to show them products that are going to work best in their space.
So you really work to understand their lifestyle to then make that tailored recommendation on what type of flooring.
Lifestyle, design, what they're looking for in the space, colors, that sort of thing. It's all very important.
How do you help a homeowner choose ultimately? Do you partner with them in that process, or do you say, here's my recommendation? What does that look like?
So as a designer, I try to make sure that they're showing me what their visual of their space is, whether they have a Pinterest board or a house idea book, and also looking at countertop materials or cabinet doors that they've already chose, or paint chips, those types of things. I ask them to show me pictures of their furniture, their wall colors, things like that, so that I can direct them towards something that will make their home just that much more beautiful and cohesive in the space.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Heather. I'm here with Brennan from Consumers Concrete, and today, Brennan, I'd love to hear, one of the misconceptions about concrete is that it's all the same. And you and I were talking before, and it's not. So could you tell us why that's the case?
Yeah, concrete is definitely not all the same. Every project, there's different specs that the architects and engineers specify that we have to meet. So our QC director puts together mixes for every individual project, like the Broad Art Museum on Michigan State's campus that we recently did. Right now in his computer, he has roughly 10,000 mixes that have accumulated from all different jobs. We do that because we want our customers to be well equipped to handle whatever project they have.
Amazing. And you mentioned different applications. I know, outdoor use is one of the most common. So what do you typically recommend for outdoor use?
Yeah, a lot of people like to do DIY projects or small patios or driveways. We recommend an exterior mix that consists of limestone. It's air entrained to protect against freeze thaw, has 564 pounds of cementitious material, and is a 4,000 PSI strength. And then also we highly recommend curing and sealing that concrete so that way it can withstand the test of time.
Okay, awesome. And then at Consumers Concrete, do you install it? Do you pour the concrete for consumers, or?
We are not a pour and finish company. We are strictly a ready mix supplier. So what we do is we will deliver the concrete and help offload the concrete via the truck, and then we are done with it. So it's up to your contractor to place and finish. And if you are looking to get a contractor to do your work, we are more than happy to help get you in contact with local contractors. To do that, you can go to our Ready Mix page at consumersconcrete.com and fill out the form, and we will help you get in contact with the local contractor.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Brennan. So if you do have questions, reach out to Consumers Concrete and they'll connect you with the contractor.
I'm here with Stuart from Northville Lumber. He's the 5th generation owner of the oldest lumber yard in the state of Michigan. And my question for you, Stuart, is how have you guys been successful all these years?
Well, Mike, we're just lucky enough to be located in the middle of the greatest people of the state of Michigan. And along with that, we identified kind of 3 main concepts. One is service. The customer is the most important part of our business. The second thing is selection, in-stock products, limiting special orders. And the third is price. That's got to be a competitive price model.
Love it. Let's dive into that a little bit more. So tell me, what have you done to do service? Because I've experienced your service and it's next to none. I mean, it's the best. So how have you found these people and kept them at Northville?
Well, in our industry, we're lucky the bar is a little low, right? So it's not really hard to execute the mission of being attentive to a customer and following through on the commitments that you make.
Yeah, and I know as a consumer, as a builder, but also as a homeowner, going into a big box store, you might not get the same person every time. With you, we do.
Yes.
And tell me about just the pricing, and I think goes hand in hand with the products that you guys stock. Like, what's been your success with that?
Well, when you are a stocking dealer of something, you purchase in large quantities. You're always able to get the best price from the manufacturer. Yeah. Many people can't do that.
Great. Well, this has been fantastic, and we look forward to learning more about Northville and continuing our relationship with you because it's the best.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm here with Michael Flory, founder and CEO of Custom Built Design and Remodeling. And today, Michael, I'd love to hear from you. When a homeowner comes to you and they have a project in mind, what do you tell them typically to think through, initially up front? What's that first decision that they need to make to get started?
Yeah, for us as a full service design build company, one of the first things we lead people through, and we're going to educate them and coach them through the whole thing, but we want to find out, are you DIY? Are you a DIY? Do you like this? Are you a self-manage, or are you looking for this full service design build? And the reason that's so important up front is because people may not be looking for the full service design build. They might be more of somebody that loves the design or loves the process of picking out all this stuff by themselves, but then they're just looking for, let's say, a specific project, like they want to just get their cabinets replaced, and so that would be somebody that's a self-managed versus somebody that's really, their time is super valuable.
Yeah.
They don't have enough time, or they need help. A lot of times people will come to us and there's a husband and a wife or their partners. And some of what we do is just bringing the visions together, because oftentimes they're in different places. And so for us, it's bringing that together. So in the full service design build, we can offer that complete service and buy back literally hundreds and in some cases thousands of hours on top of that, bringing together a better vision than what they originally came with, meaning that we were able to work off their vision with our professional. We can kind of put together a really cool finished product and something where when they walk into the space, they love it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I'm here with Devin from Paul Davis Restoration. And Devin, today I'd love to talk with you more about restoration. What makes a restoration company unique?
Yeah, what makes a restoration company unique is that we're IICRC certified. So, what we really focus on is water, fire, mold, and storm. And we're certified. So when you go with a restoration company, you want them to be skilled in what they do. So it's all we do. So whether it's drying out your basement, getting the odor out when you have a fire, or remediating mold. It's what we do, so you want to make sure they're certified.
So what kind of problems should a homeowner call you for then?
Well, think about it as when you call your insurance, you probably need a restoration company. If your basement's flooding, you have a house fire, you see a little spot on your bathroom ceiling.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to get it checked out. It's like a 3-step process. You want to ensure everyone's safe, call your insurance company, and call a local restoration company.
Okay, amazing. And then as far as insurance goes, will insurance cover all the losses? How does that typically work at partnering with you?
I wish I could say they cover all losses, but they don't. So it's very important to sit down annually and know your policy. So if you finish your basement, you'll want to look and see how much you have in water backup, because you want to know where you stand if something were to happen. You want to know what your personal belongings are covered for, and you want to know what your structure is covered for. So you really want to sit down and know your policy.
Well, thanks so much, Devin. That was fantastic information. If people want to know more about Paul Davis Restoration, where can they go to find you?
Yeah, our website's pdrmichigan.com, and our emergency number is 800-676-9118.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you've been enjoying the Design and Remodeling Show, where we talk all things expert insights and practical tips to help you transform the place you live into a home you love. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for watching the Design and Remodeling Show with Custom Built. See you next week.